City tonight, the mysterious vigilante is in the news again. A little more than 2 hours ago, in an 8th Avenue subway underpass, 2 men were shot. One died on the spot. The other managed to reach the street before he collapsed. He died shortly afterward in the hospital. The 2 men have been identified as Joseph Roscoe Adams and George Reach. Both had long criminal records. The vigilante himself may have been wounded. The actions of the vigilante, as lawless as they may be, seem to be giving others new attitudes toward crime in the streets.
Commissioner says you have a pretty good suspect.
Well, he fits the bill in some respects.
He could be the man.
Yeah. Yeah, he could be. He could be looking for a man who's had a member or members of his family killed by muggers. Now, he shoots that pistol pretty good, right? Okay. Combat veteran. So put Vietnam vets at the top of the list, because they're youngest and toughest. Then you can work your way through Korea and World War II.
Death Wish is a film that was released in 1974 by Paramount Pictures that left critics more or less split, but was overall a financial success, especially when you take inflation into account. Seriously, look at those numbers. Death Wish may have not been a critical darling, but it was a hit, likely due to the fact that New York was crime-ridden at the time, and this was a type of escapism film that asked whether or not someone should take the law into their own hands. In the 70s, and even today in 2018, it is a relevant topic given the political climate that we live in.
Dad, I want a gun!
You don't need one of those, son. The men in our family have penises.
Death Wish was directed by Michael Winner, a director who made a lot of films, but was notorious for his behavior on his film sets, especially with women. Let's put it this way, if he were still alive today, when the Harvey Weinstein scandal broke out, he would have had his fair share of problems on his hands. Winner maintained a working relationship with the Death Wish series until Part 3, when he was forced out by the lead star. The film stars legendary actor Charles Bronson, who was a worldwide icon at the time thanks to his numerous roles in the films like The Great Escape, Once Upon a Time in the West, and The Magnificent Seven. However, after this film came out, he became synonymous with grindhouse revenge films. Hope Lange, another actress who was legendary in her own right, stars as the ill-fated wife of Bronson. I wish I had more to say about her in this film, but she's in it for a very short amount of time. It's really more of a thankless role for an actress of her caliber.
Oh, hell no!
And last but not least, to fill out the cast, we have Vincent Gardenia, who stars as the lead detective who is on the case of catching Bronson. I'm not very well versed on the work of Vincent Gardenia, but I will say I love what he does in this film, and he always leaves me in stitches because for some reason his character is constantly sick in every single scene that he is in. Maybe it was a character trait, or character flaw. Up to you. Oh, that reminds me, I would be an idiot not to point out that Jeff Goldblum is one of the hoodlums that attacks Charles Bronson's family in this movie. And yes, you just saw Jeff Goldblum do that, and you can never unsee it now. Enjoy! The film opens up with a happily married father named Paul Kersey, who is just coming back from a vacation with his wife to New York. Shortly after their return, tragedy strikes Paul Kersey's home in the shape of 3 thugs who murder his wife and rape his daughter. It's such a brutal scene, I'm not even going to try to show it here. After hearing the news, Paul is destroyed and feels guilt because he was not there to protect his family. Shortly afterwards, he is sent to Arizona by his boss to oversee a housing project in Tucson and get away from New York for a while. While there, he is presented with the idea that a gun is the answer to crime by the client which he is working for. The man tells him that Arizona has a very low crime rate because people have guns and no one would be stupid enough to try anything. He also points out that New York is overcrowded with crime because the citizens cannot defend themselves. After returning to New York with a finished job, Paul decides he has had enough. He is going to clean up the streets himself, even if he never manages to find the men who hurt his family. Yes, surprise, he never actually does catch the people that ruined his life, unlike the sequels, but we'll get to that later. Paul kills thug after thug after thug, and little by little, the police and the media begin to take notice, and the more thugs he kills, the more media attention he receives, as the police are baffled to the identity of this vigilante. The case eventually becomes a worldwide sensation, and crime rates actually go down, which causes quite a stir for the mayor and the police department, which basically makes them look like fools. Eventually, Detective Ochoa, who was put on the case, is able to figure out who the vigilante is and leaves Paul with a choice. Should he continue with this one-man crusade, or stop now and go back to a normal life and let the authorities handle the crime problem?
Everybody in America should have to own a gun. In fact, if you get caught outside your house without your gun, you get a ticket. And they shoot you in the leg, just to make their point. If we all had guns, there'd be no more carjacking. Get out of the car! Get out of the street!
As funny as that is, unfortunately the cloud of controversy still stands over this movie. Gun control. In 2018, still a big topic. Are guns the answer to crime? I don't know. I don't think that I'm qualified to answer that. That's not my field of expertise. I don't go around shooting people and whatnot. Not my style. I like being out of prison, thank you very much. But what I think I am qualified to answer is whether or not this movie is any good. I think this is a great movie. This is a great piece of grindhouse cinema, and it's a movie that sticks with you. Whether or not you agree with its message, because it's pretty blatantly obvious, this movie believes that guns are the answer. Just go around shooting thugs. I don't know about that. I'm not going near that one. But this movie leaves a lingering feeling with you. You keep thinking about it after you watch it. And again, like I said, it's still relevant because after all, they just remade the new Death Wish, which is about to hit Blu-ray soon. I'll talk about that movie at another time, as I will the sequels to this. But this is a really, really good movie. Charles Bronson owns the part. He becomes Paul Kersey. After this movie got made, he became the vigilante guy. Like, most of his films started to be just all about him going around killing people that did wrongs to him. That pigeonholed him, that definitely typecasted him, but you also can't take away how important this movie was. I mean, you saw the box office numbers. This movie resonated with audiences. This movie made a lot of money, and it didn't go for any Academy Awards, but it still got some semi-good reviews. I think this movie is well worth your time. You should go check it out as soon as you can if you have not seen it. If you're a little squeamish with sexual assault, yeah, you're probably going to have problems with those scenes. But if you can get past that and accept the movie for what it is, you're going to have a great time. 1974's classic film Death Wish. Go check it out.
It's canned goods, then bread. Oh, I have a coupon.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.